Welcome to Take 5. Today, my guest is Nick McVey, who is running for alderman in the 5th District in Milwaukee. He's going to tell us about his agenda for change. We'll be right back. I'd like to welcome Nick McVey to Take 5. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, I want to talk about how we met a couple years ago. And you were like a crusader in your community, which is the 5th District in Milwaukee. And you were doing a lot of, I thought, crazy stuff to protect people. People were coming to you with their issues and things of that nature, and you were helping them. And I said, this guy is nuts. But you were so passionate about helping people. I was like, wow. And then about a year later, you told me that you were going to be running for alderman in the 5th District. And I was like, wow, because you got to know a lot of people in the community, and you were in the community. Tell me about that.
Well, I mean, where to start? I originally got involved with it, saw a lot of things going on, and I just started taking action. Really, whether it be with community meetings or out in the on the ground, actually doing what I could.
I remember a young lady was going through some type of abuse, and you helped her get out of an abusive relationship. You were helping people with all kind of issues. And I said to myself, why is he doing this? Now, you weren't running for anything at that particular time. You were just in the community. Why were you doing all this?
Well, when it comes down to it, I'm raising my daughter here in the 5th District, and where we lived at the time, there was narcotics trafficking, human trafficking, shootings, all the above. And a lot of people are saying, well, just move out of the city. Mm-hmm. And for me, that's not an option, because this is where I grew up, I live.
Let's talk a little bit about your background. You do and have done a lot of things. Tell me about that.
Well, as far as it goes with schools, I was raised in this district, from the ground up, basically. Went to 81st Street School, 95th Street School, MSL, Milwaukee School of Languages, and from there I just really didn't know what I wanted to do, so went to school at MATC for automotive technologies. Mm-hmm. And I worked on cars flat rate for a couple of years, and then I kind of moved on from there, and something was just kind of missing, so I knew I wanted to do something for the community. I enlisted in the Wisconsin Army National Guard.
Oh, wow. How was that experience?
That experience was the best, worst time of my life, if that makes sense.
Why is that? Tell us about it.
Well, it's definitely, the military is definitely not the easiest, but it has a lot of good experiences. Mm-hmm. And it really solidified, who I am today, and kind of what I've been doing also. So it was like the first step in community advocacy and community, working with the community.
How long were you there?
I was in the Army National Guard for the last 6 years.
Okay.
So, and I just got out of inactive reserve as of January 2nd.
Well, so you're not active right now?
No.
So you have time to concentrate on the community even more.
Correct.
And you're running for alderman, so you have the time. But that's a great background to have. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I know you've probably been asked this question before, but why are you running for alderman in the 5th District of Milwaukee?
Well, I think people have really just lost their voice, and people aren't being represented correctly at all. There's a lot of things going on that people, aren't even aware of. That's why I think there needs to be more public meetings, and so people can really actually take part in the decisions like how it's supposed to be. Really, an alderperson is supposed to facilitate the needs and what's best for the community, or the 5th District, I should say, and that's just not happening right now. I want to see the stimulation of the small businesses, because that's been kind of on a decline, but I think we can get that going again.
Running for political office, sometimes you do get some negative things said about you. I guess they call them haters. Some of it may be true. A lot of it may not be true. How do you handle that?
I think it's like regular, people have to deal with that, whether they're running for political office or not. And, if it's untrue, you just keep on pushing forward. It's not something that should inhibit any type of progress that you're making.
You're running on Agenda for Change. How do you plan to make the 5th District a better place?
Well, in my opinion, I really think it's important that we really start communicating with each other and having rapport, whether it be between neighbors or the community and public safety, potholes and the tore up streets and things like that.
I see big old holes in the street in the dead of summer. So I get it. Illinois has made marijuana. What is that? Decriminalize it, or they're selling it, or how? What is that? What is going on there?
So they made it so it's legally recreational to use.
Mm-hmm.
And you can buy limited quantities, and I wish we'd had that here because it would generate a lot more income for the city when people are going through chemotherapy. It definitely helps settle their stomach. I think it would be a lot safer for people in general. You see a lot of people out here going out and buying weed or marijuana, or whatever you want to call it. They're going out on the street, and which can cause issues like being robbed or getting killed and things like that. But if we regulate it and have it at shops, we can, it'll stimulate the economy for sure.
Nick, what sets you apart from the other candidates running in the 5th District?
What really sets me apart from the other people running for 5th District is that I'm willing to put in the work. I'm willing to be out there in the streets and in there in the meetings.
Do you need campaign funds? Do you need some funding at all? How can you donate if we want to donate to you?
Yeah, I'm absolutely taking contributions right now, and you can go to my website, votenickmcvey.com, and with those funds I'll be printing literature, door hangers, and lawn signs and things of that nature. So also the contributions also go for doing meetings and stuff like that, so the community can come and meet me and we can talk, and beverages and snacks and things like that when make people comfortable when they're talking with me.
How important is it to vote? Because I know a lot of people say, hey, I vote the big one, I vote for the presidency, that's when I vote. How do you get people to come out for the smaller elections like yours? I'm not saying it's insignificant, but it is not the one we do in November. How do you motivate people to come out and vote for you or vote?
I really think it's a big part of that is really educating people on these local votes are so important. It can come down to one vote.
So it is important to vote even in the small elections, not just the presidential, which is important.
Yeah, absolutely.
But these are also as important because we're talking about your community where you live and the people are representing you. We need to know who's representing you. Because I had people ask me that question too. Who's in your district? Who's representing you? If you have an issue, where do you go? What's the person's name? I get a lot of literature from in the mail from my district person. So it's important.
It definitely is, and people really have to remember to actually go out there and or go online or contact the election commission and make sure that they are registered to vote.
Right.
Because I checked the other day, and for some reason I'm not registered anymore to vote.
They said there was an issue with that.
Which is kind of funny because I'm on the ballot.
Right.
So
right.
So I'm gonna have to go to the election commission and make sure that I'm registered to vote. So just make sure that you are.
Right. But if you're not on, I go to the same place. I've been going to the same place for years. And if I can walk in and say, you're not on the register, because they did say they did drop some people because they didn't respond to mailers to let them know that they still lived at this location. So they dropped people from the rolls. I thought it was still in litigation, but you never know. You said you were dropped, so.
Yeah, and I'm really not sure. I went to the DMV website just to make sure that everything was current, which it is. And I vote every single time there's a vote, so I'm not sure why I'm not registered anymore.
Wow, that's interesting. So a lot of people need to check that out before
absolutely.
they go, or make sure they, you got to bring your ID, correct, to vote.
Correct.
When is the date that we go vote?
So the primaries are February 18th, and the whole thing with primaries is, say there's 3 candidates running, so you're going to go vote, and the top 2 candidates will move on to the regular election, April 7th.
April 7th.
And then that's going to be the determining factor in, who gets into office.
Now, how many people are running in your district?
There is myself and 2 other candidates running right now for 5th District.
But the people in your district have to go and make a decision on what 2 are going to run?
Yeah, the top 2 people with the most votes are going to move on to the April election. And then whoever gets the most votes between those 2 people in April are going to be the ones that get into office for 5th District.
The runoff, the date for that is?
February 18th.
Okay. And the election, after they choose, it's 3 of you, so after they choose the 2 that they want to run, the election is on?
April 7th.
April 7th.
April 7th,
okay, yeah. Right. That's 2 dates to remember. This is Nick McVey. Okay, Nick McVey. Remember that name, Nick McVey. I want to thank Nick for coming on to the show, talking about the election, also the voting process. My name is Wanda Williams. I'm your host of Take 5. We'll see you next time. Much love.